until I tell you it's all right to do so. You hear? Good. It's hot, isn't it? Hot. Yeah. Not better. Good. So, you're the newbie, are you? Come to join my team, is it? Well, you look strong enough, absolutely. You look like you could take a few hits, a few punches, a few stabs. But, well, surviving and fighting are two very different things, are they not? The answer's yes, by the way. I'm sure that you can survive. But can you fight? And do you want to fight? My name is Di. I, for better or worse, I'm the trainer of the virilous team here in the amphitheatre. Do you know much about being a gladiator? It's all right if you don't. It's a bit more nuanced than people think. Oh yes, everyone enjoys the show, bread and circus and all that. But a lot of them don't know the sheer hard craft that goes into it. I call it graft and craft. Oh, yes. Die, that's right. Die by name, kill by nature. A little joke for you, it's a freebie. So, we'll be training these wooden gladiators, yeah, wooden swords. Mine's wonky. Bet you think it looks pretty stupid, don't you? Bet you think it looks like it couldn't hurt. Well, let me tell you something. Splinters hurt, don't they? But also, it's worth saying. The blade is wood, but the hilt, the shaft, that is taken from a legionnaire's sword. Gladius used one, deceased, no longer in use. So when you pick up here one of these wooden swords, one of these wooden training swords, you're not just picking up a piece of wood, you're picking up a piece of history. You're picking up something that's probably killed more and will ever kill than you. So don't forget that before you make fun of our silly little swords. Right. Now, do you know how many gladiators types there is? How many are there? There's loads. There's Cestus, Equus Sagittarius, Provocator. My Latin's terrible. Palmarius, Momilo, Gallus. You what? Me? You think I'm a Gallus? Why is that then? Because I'm scantily clad and I got fair hair. Well, the crowd, they think I'm a Gaul, but don't tell them I'm not. Truth is, Di is a Celt, Salarian. But now I am a citizen of Rome, you see. Yes, my chief, the Barcrested Soul, capitulated to the Romans, and we chose assimilation over obliteration. A wise decision, thinking about it. But you know, those Romans, they aren't so bad. They're very cosmopolitan, innit? Yeah. You know, they took my God. I was brought on for my equestrian skill set. Kept on because it turned out I could fight. But no, newbie. Gallus I am not. For I am a Rudiarius. And you know what that is. I got the rod, I did say. But guess what, newbie? I kept flipping fighting. That's right. I wouldn't let them dictate to me when I was in their servitude, but I also wouldn't let them dictate to me when I was free. A lot of history in these swords. But I will tell you something. Not all of us have the privilege of knowing if we are free or not. And so, whether you're here today out of your own volition or out of the volition of another, well, I will not dictate to you how and when you fight. When you're in my team, you fight how you want, how you like. To the death, to life, to freedom, whatever you want. If you don't want to die on this sand, you don't have to, alright? It's the one mercy I show. That's why my team's so popular, you see. Everyone wants to be with Di. Kill with Di. But no. You choose the arena, you choose the method, but I will, today, I will teach you how to fight, so that you may live, you see. For in this arena, contrary to what they think up in the peanut gallery and stuff, in this arena, we do not kill. No. We survive. And I told you when I first saw you, see, you look like you could survive. And that's the mightiest compliment that I could pay to a gladiator. Gladiator you are, though you be. And under my wing, you stand. Protected for now, but not for long. Because sooner rather than later, you are going to have to fight. And I tell you what, I would bloody prefer it if you won. So, Do you know how to fight? Do you know all the poses, the dances that we do? No. Alright then. You want to learn how to fight. Not so that you can kill, mind. So that you can live. And listen. If you ever say, I look like a Gaul again, I will kill you. But until then, I'll keep you alive. So, yes, sir. Where do we begin? We begin at the start, Yobi. We begin where all great battles start. The beginning. The beginning dictates the match. It dictates how you fight. It tells you how your foe will fight. The first thing I did when I sees you walk in, apart from swat away these bleeding flies, was draw a line in the sand. Yeah. Now you'll soon learn. The sand, the sun, and the crowd are your biggest allies, your biggest boons in battle. Why? I drew that line here and said, do not cross it, did I not? Until I tell you to. That line is the space between you and I, foe and friend. Now, that line, that space is your land, your sand, and you have to control it all the time. You have to concentrate on it. At the beginning, in your mind, decide, where is that line, my territory, that I must defend, that I would die to protect. You decide that, there and then. You control that space, you move it with you, and you always keep that fella at arm's length, never in your space, until you give them permission. Alright. The first thing you do when you walks out into this here amphitheater, you look around. You understand? Because this is the only chance that you will get to look around. You look at the sand. You draw your line. You remember the sand. You are in sandals. Take them off right now. Aye. Feel the sand between your toes. Feel every particle, every grain of it. Right. You move better in the sand without being weighed down by slabs of leather. Speak of which, wear as little as possible. Well, the audience like it, and also keeps you light on your feet. And in this bloody heat. Alright. Yeah. Better. Once you've looked at the ground, you've learnt the sand. You look at the sky. Where's the sun? It's up there. The sun is always on your side. And if it happens to be by your side, even better. Remember where the sun is. This word won't do you much good right now, but you'll see later how the sun is a gift from the gods. Once you've looked at the sun, look at the audience, the crowd. Who do you see? Do you know any of them? Do any of them know you? Have you got a good audience in for you today? Have you? Remember that. They're a good indicator of how the whole thing's going and if anything's changed. If you're throwing the match anyway, it don't matter, but if it's a real fight, they'll tell you how you're doing, and it's good to know. Plus, you want to keep your eye on the boss. Hey, whoever they may be. Down here, it's usually some merchant. Sometimes we get a senator. If it's a senator, we're even less than usual. They'll love that. But you keep your eye on them, like. They'll tell you what to do. They'll tell you if you're going to win, you see. Nice and easy. You make the most of that first glance, while the other one's probably cheering, egging themselves on with cheers about being the best and whatnot, playing to the crowd. You use that time to learn the lay of the land and remember it, because that's the only look you'll get. Because after that, that's it. You never, ever break eye contact. Yes, it's uncomfortable, isn't it? Some don't like it at all. Sometimes, if it's a big boy, I'll give him a little kiss, you see. If they're not so secure in themselves, they grow weaker still. If they are, you might have made a very special friend that day. Play with them. Smile. This is fun. It's a game. But never break eye contact. Do you know why? What do the Greeks call it? I can't remember. It's some geometry to it, you see. There's memory in these bones. There's thought in this wood. When you keep your eyes locked on them like that, never break it. You know where everything else is then. You know where their arm is because you've got one. My eyes are here, my arm's there, my shoulder's there, my stomach's there, the big boy. I know where my sword is because it's an extension of me. If it's a wonky donkey like this, wonky donkey it out with your arm like so, eh? Hit whatever you like, it doesn't matter. Hold it out straight. But never break eye contact. Even if you don't overpower them with strength, you will, with will. And you'll be moving, like, you know, moving. But don't break it, even if they don't move their head. And you're out. You're still looking through their head, their eyes. Right. You following me so far, and you'll be good. So you come in, you look around, ground, sun, audience, you, and never break eye contact until either you've won or they're dead. Alright then, next, show me your stance. Come on, how do you stand? Flipping heck. Flies. Alright, that's how you stand, is it? Come on, be sensible here. This is life and death, potentially. Alright, well, your feet are all right there. So yes, your feet, shoulder width apart. Aye, you got it, shoulder width apart, but are you dominant right or you're sinister? Aye, if you're dominant right, your left leg front, alright? That's your pivot switch, eh? Alright. You see what the Greeks call it, so there's geometry trigonometry, triangles and all that. More so than that, physics. You pivot your left leg, or right in front of you like that, see? You don't move that much, right? Although you always keep moving, but that one's there. It's like your guide, your star. Eye contact. So this all has to be second nature. Left leg there, right back, shoulder length apart, and you've got your torso, the whole thing turned to face whichever your dominant side is, huh? So right for me. That's why I got this armor here. One, I'm making myself as small a target as possible. Much more difficult to hit me side on than if I got my big gut hanging out, asking to be pierced. Side on like that, smaller target. And I got my defense arm, you see. Wrapped and cut and all that. Not very good. It's a bad arm. Every hit that goes on here is a free hit for me. And they'll hit that a lot, because they won't know where else to hit. My head's hard as metal anyway, not got much brains, you see. So then I got my small target. I can move then my sword arm however I like, whichever stance. And pivoted on my left foot. In, slice, or in, stab. You understand? Over, crush, up, like that. All pivoted. But what you want to do, and it's paramount importance, keep moving. If you move your left leg, that pivots. It's like dancing, see? Or under the maypole, the oak tree then. What culture do you have then? Alright. Another reason is we don't wear much armour. It's bloody uncomfortable, isn't it? Anyway. So, first step, come in, look around. What you see? Sand, sun, crowd. Then move on. Never break eye contact. Never, 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 never. Or I'll kill you. Are you in that you already see? The smallest target as possible. Left leg, strong, sturdy. Your back leg, all bent and wobbly. Always moving. As small a target as possible. Lift that up if you're scared. Use it. If you've got a spear, whatever. Do you know what you're going to be? Don't be a scissor, they're the worst. Alright? Trident, what have you? These gladiator sharp in your life, They're good, they got a pointy, and they got a cut D, see? So, does that make sense to you? Are you listening? Don't waste my time. I can check where you came from, you see, why you're here, and quickly have you extricated there, Is that a word? That sounds Latin, innit? You tell me. So, all that. You got your points. 1, 2, 3. 3 points at the start. Then 2. Eyes straight into you see. Then 1. Left leg. 1 is the smallest number, yeah? Become it. Become nothing. Become the smallest thing you can imagine. Crouch down. If it's a big boy, they'll wear themselves out. Don't worry about it. If it's a beautiful boy, well, maybe you'll get worn out, Doesn't matter. So, 3, 2, 1. Those are the firsts. 3, 2, 1. What's that other Greek thing? mathematics, adding things together. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. Add those together. What you get? I can see why they sent you to the arena. You get 6. 6. That is the most important one when the fighting starts. 6 points. There are 6 ways for you to strike your foe. 6. The first is the thrust. So, small target, but for this exercise, I'll just stand. The thrust is as simple as that. You're thrusting in, usually to the gut, which is exposed traditionally. Don't go for the face. You don't get any prizes for cutting someone up so bad that people don't recognize them anymore. Number 1, the thrust, straight in. Thrust, thrust, reverse, thrust, reverse, thrust, reverse. The other 5 are above, yes, above, down, above, down. I think you're working out where it's going. From there, slash. From there, slash. From there, slash. And from down here, up. Up. And the same the other way, but reversed. Yes? Up. Up. Controlled motions. And follow through. Like that. Finally, the most powerful. And down. And all the while, when you're doing these, see, you're the smallest target possible. And down. And down. Straight back in. All of those result in your sword arm going back to its original position. Yes? And those are the only things you can do with your sword. The only things that you can move it, because you can't, there's only 6 points, you see. You can't come up from there like that, can you? Of course, there are various different angles and degrees within that, but we're not Greek. We're not here to calculate those. What? 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 Practice those. Just remember the starting positions, you know. Here, 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 here. Yes, 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 you get it. But what can you do with that, you see? Invariably, you'll be fighting the same weapon. So they've got all the same advantages as you. Now you'll see some gladiators going around doing all this sort of stuff, you know, spinning like and coming up behind and nonsense like that. That's good for the show. But the thing is, the show has to last. What that means is you have to give the audience, everyone there, something worth watching. You look at me, what you see a person, a man, I suppose. You're a person as well. You know our weak points. If you cut me here, where I'm all veiny and stuff, with all these horrible scars, you're gonna cut me and make me bleed. If you cut my throat, you're gonna kill me. By all means do that, but give it 20 minutes or so, you know. Give them a show. give them a show. And if you ever fight me, I'd appreciate that you left the mug alone, you know. Well, you know, I spend a lot of time looking after myself in the facial department. That's enough of that. Alright. So yes, don't rush yourself. But also, be aware that the person you're facing, they know all of this. Absolutely all of it. And they might have done it many times before. So what you're going to do? You're going to faint. No. You're not going to lose consciousness, although you might the first fight. And that's alright. Don't beat yourself up. Everyone else will. I will. No. We'll look after you if you faint. I mean faint, as in deceive. Let's say you're fainting. Now, if you're in this stance, you're going in for a slash like this. Pardon the language. Now, if I see you doing that, I know that there are only 6 ways that we can strike at one another. So I therefore know exactly where you're going to hit me. So all of a sudden, you're in control. You think, with this move, you'll get it up like... But I'm in control. Because I know exactly what you're going to do. I know exactly where the hit will land. And I know how to riposte, how to parry, how to block. Defense isn't a tactic you want to pursue, if possible. You want to turn every move you make into a relentless assault on the enemy. Every single attack, force, unstoppable force. And the way you do that is you feint. You're coming at me like this, pivoted, moving. I think I know what you're doing. Yes? And then you lift and strike her. You feint. You fool me. All of a sudden you cut my winky off, and I'm very upset about it. It'll take ages to grow a new one. But you can only do it in certain moves, you know. So here, you could swing up there, couldn't you? And down there as well, same thing. You could come in like that. Each one of the 6 is connected to the other. Overhead is easy to come to from a thrust. Thrust is the easiest one of them all, because you can just stab over and over again all night long. But I'll just flip it out. Just tap it out like that. That's a bad one. Never mind. So, you feint like that. You fool them, you see. And then you've just got one more advantage in your repertoire. The other thing you can do is mix and match, you know. So you start with this, and you keep it going. What did I say? Relentless attack. That's what you want. To survive a minute as a gladiator, you have to keep fighting for more than a minute. And you have to fight. You do that. Combinations. Down. Becomes up. Becomes thrust. Becomes strike. Slash. Thrust. Slash. Thrust. Practice these combinations until they become second nature. And then you will always pin the bastard. And it feels good when you land that first strike, I'll tell you. But I will be honest with you. They're going to hit you first. Especially if it's, inter-team, you see. What we do sometimes is we have matches between us, just friendly, so you won't die, but you'll get hurt. And we'll hit you, you see, like that. And it'll happen. Grow your hair. Nice and long. People think it gets in the way. Not only does it look pretty, it bats away blood and sweat, keeping it out of your eyes. But what you do if you're against me and I'm coming at you, relentless like, flipping slash, thrust, what you do? You look at the things we looked at first. Number 3. The 3 things. You know where the sand is. You're not wearing sandals, don't you? So you can feel it. You can feel where it is. Well, what you do, you kick it up like that. And all of a sudden, you've got an advantage. Then you thrust. Then you slash. You push. Relentless attack. If you're getting down, they're hitting you on your okay arm. Kick it up with your sword. Kick it up with your sword. And then bash, slash, kill. What if you feel your feet, there's no sand, you're on stone, marble, whatever. You're the friend, the sun. Don't look at her, she'll blind you with her beauty, but you got your sword, hopefully shinier than this, and you reflect it right into those eyes. And remember, you're never taking your eyes off of them. You can't do that. You can't do that. Number 2. Reflect. Shine right into their eyes. You've got armor here. And remember, number 1. So, reflect. And then flipping slash. And then, of course, the crowd. They're there, aren't they? You can't look at them. Why? Because of 2. I'm looking at you. But you remember them. You looked. Was there someone you knew? Who's the boss? Is it a good-looking fella? Is it a good-looking horse? Yes, yeah. If you remember those things, which you should, you can use them to your advantage. If it's the boss, is the merchant, or whatever, call out his name. For veni, whatever they're called, for Cicero, you know. Funny Latin names, Roman. You call that out. If it's a friend, you call him out. If it's a nice horse, you go, nay. It's distraction then. The crowd go mental. And then what happens? Your foe is distracted for a tiny amount of time. But because you've never taken your eyes off, you can see when they move their little micro movements and then bam, right in the face. You've won. Well done. Everyone goes home. Their favourite gladiator said their name. You're a hero and you survived. You survived. And you will fight. And fight. Again. What a palaver, innit? I bet you never thought so much would go into it, would you? Well, it does. Lots and lots and lots. Whether you're Cestus, Equus, Sagittarius, Provocator, Palmurius, Amumilo, or Gallus. Whatever you are, whatever you choose to be, those principles are always the same, and they will help you to survive. But more importantly, that is how you fight. Whether or not you kill, that is up to you. A quick review at the start. 3, 2, 1. That's what we do. 3, 2, 1. Sand, sun, citizens. Sand, sun, citizens. 2. Eyes. 1, 2. Eyes. 1, 2. And then never break that line of sight. 1. Make yourself the smallest target possible. Use your second arm as defense. It doesn't work the other way. So you're leading. Pivot with your leg. Balance and gain momentum with your hind. And then 6. Thrust. Slash. 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 And glorious slash. Then feint. I'm going up here. I'm gonna hit you, but I come down from under here. I'm coming from up here, but I'm coming from under there. Use sword. Hold it out straight. Line it up. It's an extension of your arm, yes? Good. Let them hit you here. If you're in trouble, what you do? The 3. That's right. So you know where the sand is because you're not wearing sandals, you don't need them. Kick up the sand, or you flick it up with the sword. Failing the sand, look for the sun, but you don't have to look, and reflect it at your enemy right in their eyes, because that's where you're looking. Finally, keeping an eye on the eye. Call out a name. The citizens, or the boss. Clap, 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 clap. Then when they are momentarily distracted, you strike. Keep the show for as long as possible. Don't kill if you don't have to. Sometimes the boss will tell you what to do, you don't have to do it. Follow what the crowd says. If they really want you to kill someone, and it's to the death match, you do it. If you don't want to kill someone, don't. You won't get fired, you can't. But you won't get popular either. So. And finally, don't call me a goal. Control your space. This line, you can cross now. Welcome to the arena, Gladiator.